Rumors say we love the alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every motherfucker must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody, welcome once again. to Nerds with Alcohol.
And then it was quiet for like 3 seconds. And it was everybody.
Welcome to Nerds with Alcohol. Once was enough. Welcome to Nerds with Alcohol, everybody. This is episode 401, back in the virtual nerd basement. I am Russ.
I'm Chris.
And it is good to see you guys all back.
Episode 401.
401. Holy shit, right? 401. I still can't get over it.
Big climb to 500 now.
Yeah. I got that slog up to 500.
We're grinding.
Like,
We're starting to grind.
Looks like Jeepo's been waiting for us here, apparently. Hey, Jeep. ACD, good to see you.
Jeepo.
It is a blustery Tuesday here in Detroit.
I was afraid of that. They're saying I'm a bit quiet. I'm seeing that on my mic, and I don't know why that is, so we're going to see if we can figure that out while we go. So,
okay, Chris, you're sounding far away, is what it says.
Okay.
So, yeah, we cold and blustery Tuesday here in Detroit. Thankfully, wasn't horrible because yesterday was gorgeous, and it, but today is an appropriate day for April 15th, fucking tax day.
Yep.
I owed taxes again this year, not as much as last year. Last year I owed a little over $1,000 plus the money that I give to H&R Block to do my taxes. This year is a little over 800, but I also am getting like almost 200 back from the state and the city of Detroit. So all together about 1,100 that I have to pay out because of H&R Black and the Fed. How do you owe tax? It's amazing, dude. It's fucking amazing because I'm fucking broke. It's all these side gigs that I do. Most of my side gigs are not, you need to get some gigs. No, I'm good. Because the kids would be more expensive than the fucking taxes, dude.
All right, now it looks like now I'm really high and it's picking up. Oh, you know why? Because I switched mics. That's why it's probably sounding different, and I'm probably sounding like I'm screaming now. But
no, you sound okay from my.
Well, yeah, but you're different.
Sure. But no, yeah, all the side gigs that I do, all the work at Canterbury and the various different events.
Yeah, it looks like it's still making a lot of background noise. I don't like that.
You get the deductions and claim zeros, so I make sure not to pay. Yeah, it just sucks. I've always said that anybody that makes less than $50,000 a year shouldn't have to pay taxes at all. But unfortunately.
Hey, how's that? Does that sound any better?
Like I said, again, you sound fine to me. So
turn that back on. How am I sounding now, guys? Do I sound better? I think it looks like I'm better now. Yeah, I just basically reset.
It says better.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
But yeah, so it's just like Sonic Temple.
I had to reset the mic.
And all the work that I do at Canterbury Village and the Slime Studio thing that I did last year, that was all 1099. So thankfully I have a good tax preparer.
I never sound perfect, Ojipo.
Yeah, never. But I have a good tax preparer that helps me find the deductions that I need and set all that stuff up, and hooks me up. She's really great, and I've known her a long time. Although she did scold me very much for coming in to her H&R Block without an appointment, just walking in, and I'm like, please, Angie, help me. Because I think I just dissociated. I was like so busy with other things and freaked out about other things, and I'm just like, ugh. So I put it off and then till yesterday. But and anyway, so and it does suck too because or the top hat tips. Yeah.
Yeah, don't claim your tips.
Okay. No, I don't.
You have to claim your tips. It's legally.
It's legal. It's by law.
Yes,
I'm
by law
supposed to
you have
claim
to.
all of my tips.
If you don't claim your tips, I mean, you might get sent to an El Salvadoran prison.
Yeah, heaven forfend. So yeah, but I'm doing okay. I do feel a little bit weird because like this is the first time I didn't like send them a check today. I was just like, I'll wait for them to bill me and I'll send him a check like in a month or so.
Dude, I hate to tell you this, that thing that on your taxes that says you owe this much, that is your bill. It's not like they send you. It's not like the cable company. This is the IRS. This is you just did your taxes. Like, you see this? This is your bill. We don't need to send you one.
Angie was like, try and send them at least some money today, even if you don't send them all of it. You will have to pay a penalty or pay interest. But and I was like, yeah. And like I said, I was saying before we came online, if this was next week or the week after, it wouldn't have been a problem. But I got like a bunch of things I got to pay for like this week. With 3 ads, if you don't get hit with 3 ads. This is what you're paying for: war and nothing back. Yep. So It's just money sucks. Taxes suck, and they all suck.
And water sucks. It
really sucks. I gotta admit, I'm not a big fan of drinking water.
I actually saw somebody with the license plate quality H2O yesterday. Driving down 696. Awesome. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
I was driving around yesterday after I got done with my taxes. My car right now, there's a hole in my exhaust right now. Right under, it's probably right by the catalytic. Yeah, right by the catalytic converter.
You got the loud pipes going.
Mm-hmm. So it's not as loud as it could be, like if it was completely detached, but it's pretty loud right now, and I can smell exhaust if I turn my heat up, a little higher, and if I idle too long, I can smell exhaust in my fucking car. So I got to get it squared away, but I'm just really fucking busy right now. I'm probably gonna do it next week. But it was really funny because these dudes, I was driving around and these dudes started like yelling out the side of their window because their windows were open about rock and roll, dude, and they're like looking at me. I think they were just like, they heard my loud car and they're like, I was like, fuck off, dudes, and it was, children. How was your week?
Pretty good. I have a new car.
Yeah, I saw that. It looks good.
I've had it for all of 5 days now. It still has less than 50 miles on it. I loves it. No, it is not a test. It's not a dumpster on wheels. It's actually a Subaru Forester. It's one of the most comfortable vehicles I've ever driven. I love it. It's got all the bells and whistles that I wanted. And yeah, so I'm really enjoying it. But other than that, we had our game on Friday. So that was Thursday. I picked that up.
I had to miss because of my gig on Friday night.
Yep. So. And you missed Merrick Harris going down, boom, like a sack of potatoes. Well, you charged in, sword lit, charged in, throwing smites around like they were nothing. And you guys are fighting. Basically, there were a bunch of orcs, and then 3 people standing up on top of a little platform, and you.
We had fun storming the castle. Huh?
Yeah, yep. You guys went inside, and They went straight rather than going down any side paths. They went straight through, and wound up right at the door where the big bads were. The big bad guy that you guys were looking for was in there, along with 2 other orcs. One was wearing plate mail that was standing next to him. They took him out first because they guessed he was a cleric, and they guessed correctly. The other one was wearing red robes and had no weapons. And
So a mage of Mashakal then, right?
nope, no.
No.
He and Clem. Let's put it this way: after things started and he started hitting you because he moved around to flank you because you came up to fight the bad guy, the one you met, and then you found out that that orc that you guys have already fought might not be the biggest threat in the room. But yeah, he hit you with Quivering Palm, and I believe that's what knocked you down.
That's a monk power.
Yep. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was just punching you, and he.
It's funny. Is this one of those examples of how where he shows how overpowered monks can be?
Not so much. I mean, he did do 72 points of damage to you with the Quivering Palm.
Oh my god! Jesus, Mary
And I didn't roll as well when he hit Clem. I think it only did 50 some, but yeah, because Clem and him have finally squared off now. You and the other orc are squaring off, and Clem and that guy are squaring off. Where we left off.
Is that where we left it? We
yeah.
left it in the middle of combat.
Yep, and
that sucks.
that guy also has a little gem that's floating around, or a little thing that's floating around his head, circling it, and twice.
Yeah, wait. Did you say he had a little stone circling?
Yeah,
his
a
head?
little thing circling around his head, and
An iron stone.
and
Really?
every time, a couple of times that Euchariah has tried casting a spell, that thing flares and his spell just gone.
All right.
He's also
Nope,
kind of shimmery and doesn't. It's hard to tell exactly when you swing. It's hard to tell exactly where you need to swing at him.
Okay. You're taking that iron stone off of his head when he's dead.
But yeah,
I'm really bummed that I really did not want to have to perform.
well, we ended in the middle at the end of round 5, so we're going into round 6
Well, okay.
at the start of the next game. You've cast Shield of Faith 3 times so far because once you lost concentration.
Oh, drag.
Because you missed your concentration roll.
Mm-hmm.
Then you went down, lost it again because you lost concentration when you went unconscious.
Lost concentration.
And then when you got back up, you cast it one more time, and so it's on you now. But yeah, I think Octavian has done 2 preserve lives. So
Really?
he's done his channel divinity twice. Which I don't know if he's got a third one or not, but yeah.
Well, I would imagine these guys we're fighting are pretty pissed that we've taken out their entire minor army here. You know?
Well, and the thing is that the one in the robes is the one that's been talking since you've been in there, and he offered you guys before, just as even as the fight started, he hit Clem and said, "I hold your friend's heart in my hands. 5,000 gold, you walk away."
So they were looking to bribe us?
Yep.
Well, slavers tend to have a lot of money. Yeah, there's no bribing Maricaris when it comes to slavery.
Nope. And that was the thing. You just kept swinging. So he said, "All right." And he did his little thing with his hand, and Clem took 50-some points of damage. Didn't go down, though.
Mm-hmm.
But she did feel her heart seize, just like you did when you took the 72.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, other than that though, it was it was nice to have a Sunday off because this is the first Sunday that we didn't have curling.
Yeah.
So that was nice. We went out to Royal Oak Brewery is now doing brunch, so we went to that. We went to do that on Sunday. Hung out there for a little bit. Came home. And I just chilled all day. We watched some TV, caught up on some shit. Started watching season 3 of Wheel of Time, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I'll just talk a little bit about it. And yeah, other than that, it's just been kind of it's been work and mostly a quiet week. So how about you?
Well, again, just took care of my taxes yesterday. The weekend was filled with entertaining children and families at the Wonderland stroll at Canterbury Village. Canterbury. It was, it's fun. It's fun, when you're playing a character as unhinged as the Mad Hatter.
You can just go nuts, literally.
Yeah, I mean, you get kind of carte blanche to do. It's kind of like those idiots that run around in Deadpool costumes. People are just like, oh, it's a Deadpool cosplayer, and and it was funny. My friend Rick actually advised me not to play him too tweaky, or I think is what he said, or twitchy. I think he said twitchy, because it can make people really uncomfortable and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm playing him like he's silly. He's and I even do makeup on me so that I look like I just haven't slept in 5 days. So he's
you're doing like the Alice in Wonderland Mad Hatter, not the Batman villain Mad Hatter.
Exactly. And I'm not doing Johnny. I'm not doing Johnny Depp either. Although several people have said, "Are you Johnny Depp?" No, I'm not Johnny. Who is this Johnny Depp fellow? I don't know. I haven't seen.
You're Mr. Top M Hat.
He sounds like a very fine fellow.
Yeah. CD said.
The funny thing is too is whenever I create a character, I start with the voice.
Mm-hmm.
When I created Maricaris, I started with the voice. When I created a couple other characters, I always start with the voice. And with Oliver the Ogre, I started with his voice. He's a little bit of Grog and from Critical Role and a couple other characters. And so I started with the voice. And when I was figuring out how I was going to play the Mad Hatter, I was like, maybe I should stay low. Like, oh, hello, nice to meet you. Lovely. Oh, happy on birthday. And I'm like, nope. It's like this character, whenever you're playing something like the Mad Hatter, it's like
you got to have a higher voice.
A higher pitched voice just kind of lends to it, and I'll admit there are times. So then there are times that I put a little graveliness into my voice, and I'll do I adjust things, and sometimes I go down here, and start really, go up high. Just a nice thing
Let's get serious. No, I can't get serious.
And it's one of those things that's nice about having a decent amount of range. I have a decent amount of range in my voice. So, but I'll tell you, by the end of the weekend, my voice isn't happy with me. It's not like I'm like, I can't talk on Monday. It's just more like, don't force me to do a whole lot of talking the next day.
So we shouldn't move the show to Monday right now.
Not a great day. Not a great idea. Yeah, it's like, the girl managing it, Carrie, she's like, it comes up to me near the end of the evening. Can I get you anything? Anything? Yes, some hot cider from Yates, please. And, oh, no problem. She goes right over. I'm tossing back this warm cider. But it's been a lot of fun. I've had some really great interactions. It's like, apparently I'm a big hit. People are really, really enjoying my interactions with them, and the kids are. It's funny too because the kids are they either love me or they're scared. They're who is this guy? But the parents have been really fun, and it's not been too bad. We did have one night last Saturday, I think it was Saturday, where the kids. No, it was Friday. Where there was a big group of preteens. They were right around 11, 12 years old, and they were just a bunch of douchebags. Just boys and girls just being fucking shits, And I'm just like,
as junior high,
where are your parents? Well, it's
they're
just
middle school people.
Yeah,
kids tend to be
the middle school kids that don't understand that they're not fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's like, kid, that's my job. Go the fuck away. So, other than that, I got all my stuff squared away for Sonic Temple. I just have to send them. I have to, tomorrow.
Get off my lawn.
Probably either tomorrow or Thursday. I gotta wire them my money, my fees, and then and then we wait, and then we go in a couple weeks, and hopefully make a crap ton of money because
You get what,
I
about a
could use
month?
it. It is the 8th to the 12th, so a little less than, yeah.
Okay.
Right about it, yeah.
So 3
Well,
weeks.
but I'm very excited. So, oh, and that's the other thing. The Sonic Temple has been. They added three. I'm not Sonic Temple. Wonderland. They added 3 more weeks in May. And I'm like, well, that'd be nice. I'm gonna make a little more money, but I said to him, guys, there have an entire week I will not be there. So you will have to find a different. They have somebody that can fill in as a hatter, but they're gonna have to do something different with the makeup that weekend because I can't do it. But anyway,
So now in 2 weeks, are you playing Hatter again? So are we gonna have?
I'm going to talk to Robert and see if I can get him to take that night, and I'll go in and I'll do makeup, and so that I will be late.
Yeah.
Probably because we open at 7, and it'll and that's usually if I can get everybody into makeup and get done before then, and I can get out. But I will more than likely be at least a little, maybe upwards of 15 to 30 minutes late, depending on
So
traffic
normal.
and stuff. Yeah. And
hey, dude, how many times? I mean, we start at 7:30, and how many times do I get a message from you at 7:25? I'm leaving my house now when you're 20 minutes away.
it's not. It's usually not that bad. It's usually like 10 after 7, and I'm like, I'm gonna be strolling in at 7:35 because I still gotta get something to drink, or I gotta stop at
CD,
Taco Bell.
yeah, CD. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Okay, there you go. CD knows me so well.
Yes.
I have never. He has to stop for Fago. Sometimes, yeah. So anyway, yeah. We should move on though. What are you drinking?
I am drinking something. This is. Oops. Oh, I forgot I still had some in there because the glass wasn't big enough. So here, we'll finish that. We'll finish adding that in there. This is another a lovely beverage. This lovely
that's-
red color. This ruby
Yeah.
red.
Very red.
This is another gift from CD.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, you know what? I haven't done one of these in a while. It is from down east. It is the red slushy.
Oh my God.
So I've had white and I've had blue on the show before. Now this is red. This is the last
Right.
one of the 3 types. And I gotta say, I like this one. This is actually really good. Yeah, I think you know what, CD. I think I'm with you. I think red is my favorite. I like them all. I think they're all really good, but I think this one is definitely my favorite. It's a berry flavor. I don't want to say because there's a mix of a bunch of different things. I get a little bit of strawberry. I get a little bit of cherry, and maybe there's not really raspberry in there, but it's like a strawberry cherry kind of thing, and it's really good. It is sweet, as CD said. I haven't tried them on ice. That actually might be decent. But this is delicious. This is like 4.5 out of 5. This is really, really good.
Cool.
I could drink these all the time. These are absolutely delicious.
Because it looks like Kool-Aid in a can. It looks
It
like
sure
alcoholic
does.
Kool-Aid in a can.
Well, I mean, it looks a lot like some of the. Well, I guess it's even a little bit lighter than some of the berry ciders, but some of the berry ciders are that color.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Down East ciders, red slushy, 5% ABV. They also have blue and white. I've still got some of everything down there in the basement. Although we'll see now that I'm found out how much I like this, there may not be a red one when people come over next. So, oh, by the way, so next game though, we're also celebrating Pete's 41st birthday, and we got to make.
Oh, my God.
He's like, no, I'm not 41, and we're like, no, you're 41, dude. You're. He's having a hard time with the 40s, I guess, but yeah. So there will be cake and there will be pie.
The
So
ongoing, debate: cake or pie.
Ice cream. But how about you? What are you drinking?
I'm just drinking Pepsi tonight. I didn't get a chance to get anything new, and so yeah, just rocking the Pepsi Cola tonight.
Yeah, CD. One of the things I did do was I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I was going through the stuff I've still got down there, because I actually don't drink as much as I did because with the meds and stuff, I just don't feel like drinking. But I when I was looking through them, I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll do that. And I started going, yeah, I still haven't tried the red slushy. I'll put that in there. See what I feel like, because the other one is the caramel apple cider.
Oh,
So I'm like, you know
caramel
what?
apple cider.
I will save that one so Russ at least gets to try it.
Thank you.
CD said, yeah, those came out again. And there's also a lemon ice one that's down there. So I'll have to try that one as well. There's two of those. So, but yeah. So I'm doing red slushy. You're doing Pepsi.
Non-alcoholic tonight.
Yep. CD is Kentucky Old Fashioned Bourbon Barrel Ale. 3.75 out of 5, 10% Lexington Brewing and Distilling Company. This is not a sweet old fashioned, unfortunately, but is damn close to a sour, strong bourbon flavor with bitters and bite. Okay. I'm not a fan of the Kentucky Brewing. I don't think it's Lexington Brewing, but there's one that's it's the Kentucky Bourbon Ale or something like that. I don't like that one. Their Bourbon Barrel Stout is really good, but I don't like anything else that I've had by them. So. But yeah, that's long-winded. That's for sure. Kentucky Old-Fashioned Bourbon Barrel Ale. And sugar-free cherry 7-Up Zero for Ojipo.
There you go.
So so one of the things that we couldn't pass on the old-fashioned. Yeah, I love a good old-fashioned.
I gotta admit, I like them too. I'm not a huge, y'all know me. I'm not a big drinker, and cocktails, I don't know shit about shit when it comes to cocktails. But I like the old fashions, they're, it's a nice drink.
Smoked old fashions are really good. Mm-hmm. But I actually had an old fashioned at PF Chang's. So Renee and I went to PF Chang's not this last weekend, but the weekend before. First time I've ever been there. But one of the things they had an old fashioned made with Japanese whiskey, and I'm like, you know what? I will try that because I've never had Japanese whiskey. And so I'll try it in an old fashioned first, but I need to try some. I've heard Japanese whiskey is really good. But anyway, so one of the things that we didn't talk about the last 2 weeks that we need to, because it actually happened on the same. It was actually on April 1st when we were doing our 399th show. We had a major death in the entertainment industry. Val Kilmer passed away.
Yeah.
Now he'd been sick for a long time. He was battling throat cancer, and
he'd beat throat cancer. But but it definitely left its mark. I mean, he had to have his larynx removed, and it aged him a great deal too, like how he looked.
But yeah, it was a bummer. I always enjoyed him, and I know he really wasn't acting because he couldn't really talk. But
right.
I loved what they did for Maverick when they.
No, I still haven't seen that. I got to sit down and watch.
I thought that was a great way to handle him. I thought he was.
Apparently,
they
used AI and I think his son's voice or something to help recreate his voice. In that scene, from what I understand.
But yeah, it was fantastic. I thought it was a great little way to bring him back, and the fact that they did bring him back. But yeah, so it was a bummer. Not overly surprising when I heard it, but still bummed out.
Yeah, it's wild how certain stars, like a star's career can be ride high for the longest time, and then, or for a while anyway, and then after a while sometimes they just they disappear, or their career kind of takes a serious dive, and they go, from being in these high end huge movies to maybe doing TV or doing, kind of lower budget films and stuff. And then sometimes they kind of up and just disappear. And that's kind of what happened to Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer was monstrous in the 90s, particularly, or in the late 80s into the 90s. He still had a pretty solid career into the early aughts. And then he just started like not, I mean, he more or less disappeared, and then he got sick, and it hurt him a great deal. I mean, this is a guy who was a Batman, for God's sake.
Yep.
I think somebody had said that the thing that kind of hurt him the most was The Saint, the movie The Saint,
And see,
because that was one that
I love
Huh?
The Saint. I love.
it was good. I liked it too, but it was a movie that was billed to be like he was going to be like it was going to make him catapult him even further into the stratosphere, and it ended up kind of hurting his career. I think more than not. But he was Jim Morrison in The Doors. I believe he got an Oscar for that. I mean, at the very least,
He's Mad Mardigan.
he was, of course, Mad Mardigan. Yeah.
But my favorite role of his, and this is one of the things I was going to ask, was what's your favorite role?
My favorite role?
Chris Knight.
Sure. I was going to bring up Real Genius. I mean, that's the thing too. Like the early part of his career was characters like that, doing goofy shit like that.
Well, his first movie was Top Secret. That was his first role.
Yes, it was when he was like 24 years old. He was real young, and then he did Real Genius, and that came out the following year, and then he did Top Gun. I mean, it was like Top Gun, where he played Iceman. It was only like it's on IMDb. It's only his fourth credit because he is credited with an episode of an ABC After School special.
Yep.
One of these days, I would love to see if you can. Actually, we can check right now to see if you can stream the After School specials, because there are so many actors that got their start, or at least at the beginnings of their career, were on an After School special. Rob Lowe was on one. I mean, like I just pulled up the IMDb, and it like immediately pulled up just some initial pictures. But anyway, yeah, Val Kilmer.
Well, he was also don't also probably my second favorite role of his. Well, I mean, I loved Iceman, but no, my second favorite role, Doc Holliday.
Yeah, I was going to say my
Tombstone.
favorite. My favorite for him is Doc Holliday.
He was so good as Doc Holliday.
That was in 1993, and he still only he'd only been acting seriously for about 10 years at that
not
point.
even 9 years.
Yeah.
Top Secret was 84.
Right. And Top Secret came out in 84. So that means 83.
Right, but that's the thing. Tombstone came out in 93, which means it was filmed in like
you're
91,
right,
92. So
yeah, but he was in True Romance. He was in and then after Tombstone, he went on to play Batman and Bruce Wayne in Batman Forever. He was in Heat.
Yep.
Amazingly good film. The Island of Dr. Moreau.
That one was not a good movie. That one flopped.
No. But he got to act with De Niro, not De Niro.
It was Brando in that, wasn't it?
Brando, with Marlon Brando. He also did the voice of Moses in the Prince of Egypt, largely considered one of the best animated films of that era. Red Planet. And then, like I said, things just started to kind of go down a bit more for him after a lot of these. I mean,
It was
I
in
remember
Mindhunters in 2004.
Uh-huh.
Which I thought that was actually a pretty good movie.
And he did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang in 2005 with RDJ. A lot of people felt that was good. But it's just like a lot of these movies I'm seeing after this, just not a lot. He did an episode of Numbers, for fuck's sake. He was in an episode of
the musical.
Right? Like what kind of decisions were you making here, buddy? He was in The Love Guru. He was an uncredited cameo in The Love Guru, for God's sake.
Oh, he was
He was the
voice
an uncredited voice of Kit
in the new Knight Rider.
in the Knight Rider remake.
I didn't know that.
What? Neither did I. I was like, what? No fucking way. So yeah, it was just like his he was the bad guy. That's right. He was the bad guy in the MacGruber movie. He was Kunth. It's like, what the holy shit, dude, you know? So I don't know. I've always been a big fan, and I just like wonder where his decisions were being made when he in his later part of his career. He was the voice of Bravo in Planes, the Pixar movie Planes. I mean, he's done a bunch of shit. An episode of Psych. He was, you know, anyway. I don't want to go through all of this shit, but I'm just looking. This is a guy that, like I said,
he's Jay and Silent Bob reboots.
Reboot. Yeah, he was Blunt Man. You go through all of these. And he didn't speak either. That's right. That's right, because he couldn't. You just go through this stuff and like what happened, you know? It's just, and then some people say that, you know, he also physically he didn't age as well as some of his compatriots, so like Tom Cruise and some of the guys that he came up with. So, and I'd lay dollars to donuts that a lot of that was because of his medical problems, you know.
Yeah.
But I do think I think Doc Holliday was my favorite. I did like him in Batman Forever.
I actually did too.
I did.
I didn't hate that movie. That was like the last of the ones that were all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, he's following Michael Keaton. I mean, that was the thing. Michael Keaton played him for the first two movies, and then he comes in and the third one, and people were like, and it wasn't like one of those ones where people were like shocked. You know, when Michael Keaton was cast as Batman, people were like, "What? Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
Mr. Mom is going to play Batman?" I don't know.
Yeah.
But when people said Val Kilmer, they were like,
Okay.
"All right, okay." You know, he was an action.
Other than that, he was blonde. Yeah.
He was newer to the role to movies, but he had done a bunch of action films.
And he
started off, and he did. He had the look. He had, you know, so
you could see him as Bruce Wayne, whereas Keaton.
I actually didn't like him as Bruce as much. I preferred him as I thought he was, because that's the thing. When an actor's going to play Batman, they got to play Batman and they got to play Bruce Wayne.
Yep, and they are two different characters.
They are two different characters, and actually, there's three, because there's Batman, there's Bruce Wayne, and then there's the Bruce Wayne that's kind of in the middle there. That's the mixture of both. I mean, people would arguably say that most writers will actually comic book writers will actually say that Batman is the only superhero whose real identity is the mask.
Yeah,
and his
Bruce
identity
Wayne
presents
Bruce Wayne is actually the secret identity.
Is the secret identity. That's definitely the way it was a while
the
ago.
persona.
Mm-hmm. It's a little less that now. Like Bruce Wayne is seen as a little bit more of a real person as opposed to being just like a lazy playboy. But yeah. So, and I think I liked his Batman better than his Bruce Wayne. But then again, I liked his performance overall in that movie. So I'd have to say 1, Doc Holliday, 2, Batman, and then there's a couple other. I mean, just Jim Morrison was transformative.
I've actually, as big of a fan of the Doors as I am, I've never seen that movie. I'm a big Doors fan.
It's
and I'm
really
a big,
good,
and
dude.
I'm a big Kilmer fan. So
yeah, it's really well worth it.
and
I mean,
Meg
it was
Ryan's in that too, right? I always liked her too.
She plays his girlfriend, whatever. Yeah. It is a really, really good film.
Oh, CD says Meg Ryan gets naked.
She does. It's well worth the viewing.
I will have to watch it sometime.
Yeah. Let's see. The awards for that film, it got 3 nominations total. He was nominated for Best Actor. I don't think it doesn't look like he won. Best Actor for the Chicago Film Critics Award, excuse me. He was nominated for the best male performance for the MTV Movie Awards. I could have swore it got Oscar attention, but apparently it didn't. But he got a lot of attention for it.
Yeah,
So
I have always loved Real Genius.
Real Genius is amazing.
It's
a great example of those kind of movies of that era.
Yeah, and it's
know?
so quotable. I mean,
It's also relatively innocent when you really think about it, too. There's a couple cheeky moments. Well, there's a couple cheeky moments, but
what
but
about
for
that
the
time
most
I found
part,
you naked in your room with that bowl of Jello?
but eating a bowl of Jello, yeah. Stop playing with yourself, Ken.
It
is God. It is God. Yeah. There are a few moments. I mean, what I mean is you could watch it with a teenager or even a younger, like a younger teenager, like a tween, and you're not going to be like having to explain so much shit. It's like
this is ice.
There's not like
this
a bunch
is what
of
happens
nudity.
to water when it gets cold. This is Kent. This is what happens when you get too sexually frustrated.
Yeah. It's not like Revenge of the Nerds where there's a shit ton of nudity in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in all honesty, sexual assault. This was one of those movies that, like I said, it was relatively of that era. You could
Yes.
put it up there with The Breakfast Club and stuff. Which, by the way, there was at C2E2 over the weekend. There was a big reunion of the cast, and that was really, really cool.
That's cool. But yeah,
Real Genius.
Real
I
Genius
absolutely adore that.
Yeah, Top Secret is just one of those dumb airplane style movies.
Yeah, it was a Zucker Brothers film. It was, one of their earliest ones, actually, if I remember correctly.
But yeah, I will raise a glass to Val Kilmer. In all of the amazing moments and great entertainment that he provided.
Yep. Yeah, I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, I'm your Huckleberry. Yeah. So along with that, Last of Us season 2 premiered on Sunday. Now, can you said you watched it? I have not. I told you I didn't want to hear a damn thing. You said you could actually talk about it without giving anything away, and I don't know that you can.
Trust me.
Dude, I've tried that before.
All I'm going to say is it was good. It's all of the performances so far.
Hey, Renee says I don't trust Russ.
Hey. The performances were good. I did hear that the second season is only going to deal with the first half of the second game.
That way they can get a third season.
Which means that'll allow them to extend it into a third season, and the characterizations were really pretty good. What's wild is that they've done a pretty good job of not just finding an actor to play the roles in the characters in the game. They've found people that look similar to them too. And what's really weird is like listening to the girl who plays Abby, and how much she sounds a lot like what's her name from Critical Role?
Laura?
No.
Yeah, Abby was Laura.
No. Oh wait, Abby was Laura. I mean,
yeah, I'm like Abby was Laura.
I mean Ellie. Excuse me, Ellie.
Ellie is Ashley.
Ashley, right?
Like
she's good times.
I know who played Abby.
Yeah, because that's right. Because Laura was getting
death
like
threats
really serious. Like, yeah, there was like some really negative response from the fans, and but yeah, how there are times when she sounds just like Ashley, and it's a little unnerving.
Speaking of Laura, Laura and Travis, I saw on YouTube their GalaxyCon panel is up, the whole hour of it.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, I am going to
cool.
have to watch that just because those two together are just they're hilarious.
Oh yeah, I really want to. I just finished speaking of Laura Bailey. I just finished playing Spider-Man 2. And she does the voice of Mary Jane.
Mm-hmm. She does it in the first one, too.
What's that?
She's the voice in the first one.
Right, exactly. And she is so good I wanted to like drop her a note on Instagram just saying, "Hey, you were fantastic in this. Thank you. You know, just really, really great." Because she was. But yeah, there's a little surprise of a cast member that they added as a cast member and a character that we never saw in the game, which is pretty cool, and it makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to spoil that one because that's a fun surprise. It's just it was excellent, and I think that this is going, and it shows a little like what's to come teaser at the end of the episode, and it really does look. It looks like we're going to see some shit this season. Things that they didn't really even deal with in the game as much. Things like like an attack on the town kind of thing and stuff like that by the infected and shit like that, which I think they might have alluded to in the game, but they never really, it's something you think about that, okay, this would probably happen at some point. If the cordyceps drives them to breed, and to spread the fungus, they're going to be these zombies, these monsters are going to be driven to try and infect the people that aren't infected. So, but yeah, so it does. I think this is going to be spectacularly good, and then that's true. If it's only going to go to the halfway point of the second game, we will probably see a third season. They'll eke out a third season here. So really good though. Sundays at 9 o'clock. I and as much as I do enjoy the binge, I guess there is a part of me that's kind of glad they're doing it 1 week at a time so that we can fully absorb and appreciate it.
Yeah, there's some shows that I'm wishing I could continue watching, like watching more episodes, like Daredevil. I was ready for the next one.
The Pit was one of those ones. I'm like, God.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the Pit in just a minute, but one of the other shows Renee and I are watching now, and we can kind of binge it because we waited for a while. Renee, I hate waiting. Is Wheel of Time season 3 is out. Okay. And they're getting to things that I don't remember from the books, so they're beyond where I was reading. And I want to say I was in like the 6th book, and I'm like, I don't remember this. Now, granted, it's been 2 decades since I've read these books, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
I want to go back and reread them. I actually did reread the Wheel of Time, or Eye of the World, which is the first book in the Wheel of Time series, and I actually just pulled it up on my. Thank you, CD. I pulled it up on my Kindle, and I realized I was at 92% and stopped reading it. And I'm like, what? So I just kind of started reading where I was to try and kind of catch up. And I'm like, I started getting sucked right in. And I'm like, no, I have to get ready for the show. I need to stop reading. And I was just getting right back in because I really do enjoy the characters. But yeah, this season so far started off with a bang. It's just been going. Every episode is over an hour long.
Yeah, you were saying that's really great considering like so many shows these days are like you're lucky if you get 40 minutes out of them.
Yeah, the shortest episode is like 66 minutes. It says.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
So yeah, so we're watching that. That's been really good. And I mean, it is deviating from the books quite a bit in a lot of things, but it's still a good fantasy story.
I've heard that yes, it does deviate from the books, but I haven't heard it in a negative fashion. It's like people are like, I'm okay with that. It's not like
there's one character. It's kind of like in Lord of the Rings where I missed Tom Bombadil. They wrote him out. Well, they wrote out a character in this named Tom, actually, that you don't see. And he was one of my favorite characters from the first book, and they just didn't put him in.
Mm-hmm.
And they've written out a couple of other things that.
Well, they get so fucking like some of the big fans get so fucking angry.
Yeah.
When you write somebody out, some of these characters out, and it's like, I just haven't heard as much negative. Like, there are people that like don't like aspects of the Rings of Power because they've added in things and interpreted things from the books and stuff. And of course, even at Lord of the Rings, where they left out entire, you know, uh, entire
Or
things.
like adding Legolas to The Hobbit.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
That
Adding
one
Legos. That
actually
was
pissed me off. I'm like,
me too. I didn't care for that either at all.
and the dwarf
But
elf love story. That was unnecessary.
it was. It was. But at the same time, you've got these, I haven't heard the same level of vitriol from any changes from, the Wheel of Time books.
There was a little
Or
bit. The
shows.
first, well, see, so the first season followed the first book pretty well.
Okay. Well, honestly, like The Witcher is an excellent example too. Like the changes they've made to The Witcher and everything.
Yeah, the second season kind of combined the second and third books, and then this one is doing like 3, 4, and 5, I think, this season, where they're still kind of finishing off some of the stuff from 3, but they're moving to some other stuff in 4 and 5. Now, the one thing I don't remember from the books, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't the case. Actually, matter of fact, I know it wasn't the case. In the show, one of the three main characters. So there's three boys. One, they aged all of them up. In the book, they're all like 14 or 15 years old.
Okay.
In this, they're more like 20, including one of them. Perrin is actually married in the show.
Okay.
And he wasn't married in the book. He was only like 15 years old. They were all kids.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where they've done a few things. I think they changed how, like, some of the stuff where he meets the princess and stuff too. But it's overall, though, it's still what I think is a good fantasy story. It may be a little bit rushed at times, and seeming like it's rushing through some things, or like did I miss something? Because like they went from this to this, and you're like, did I miss something in between there? What did I miss? So you can tell that they are skipping ahead or moving to a different section or something like that of the book at times. But overall, like I said, still just a really good fantasy story.
And that's the other thing that I've heard about it is it's just like this really solid, almost classic fantasy story, Like it's very, very old school sword and sorcery kind of stuff. And I'm
Yep.
like, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, Renee said she thought the third season of Witcher was awful.
I still haven't watched it.
We still have the last 3 to watch, and yeah, we just weren't really all that into it, and I think that's why Cavill was ready to go, because he's like you're there. They were starting to deviate from the source material too much, and he just didn't. He's like, no, I love the source material too much. I want to stay true to it. If you're going to deviate that much, I don't want to be a part of it.
Exactly. And that's, he moved on, and you gotta have a respect for an artist that's going to do that, like just go, no, I forget this shit. I'm out. So good on him, let's see.
I also believe yeah. That was one of the other things I don't think we ever mentioned, was that the horse from Witcher, Roach, passed away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Henry
Well,
Cavill
that sucks.
Henry Cavill adopted the horse.
Yeah.
Or bought the horse. And but yeah, he did die. He was
That
actually
sucks.
he was only 12.
That's young for a horse. Yeah.
That's really young. I was the second horse to play Roach on the show. And this first horse passed away in the second season.
Drag, man. That sucks.
Yeah.
For somebody to go, for the actor to actually go and buy buy that horse or like take care of that horse. I mean, it's like
I guess
Bruce
he fell in
Campbell.
love with that horse.
Oh, for sure. Bruce Campbell took possession of the horse that Comet that he rode in Briscoe County Jr.
I heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Briscoe.
Briscoe.
That's one I wish they would come out on streaming because I never really got to watch it. I watched like episodes here and there, but I'd love to go back and see that.
Diff DVD set right there. I'm pointing right at it right there.
What a surprise! that it's,
Right next to my, or right down the way from my Jack of Hearts or Jack of whatever the other show that he did.
Yeah.
Right after the Revolutionary War. Sorry, I got something fucking up my thing here. Well, we should move on. What do you got next? You got anything next?
I got some other stuff. I mean,
Sure.
do you want to do something, or do you want me to just?
Let me see here.
I got one little quick hit. Not a whole lot of news on it.
What's that? Go ahead.
Warner Brothers has ordered Beetlejuice 3.
I did hear something about that. Yeah.
Oh, Renee said Aragorn adopted the horse from the desert horse race movie.
The funny thing is I know exactly what she's talking about. That's really from that description right there. So, for a little thing here, yes, I just finished last night.
But yeah, Beetlejuice is what they're saying is probably going to be the name.
All right, I haven't seen.
Yes.
I haven't seen Hidalgo. That was it. I haven't seen the sequel.
I haven't yet either.
Heard mixed reviews. Heard some people really dug it. I heard at least some of the it did well financially. So, and I heard basically some of the old school people were like, "No, fuck this. This is awful." But for the most part, I heard it was pretty good, pretty entertaining. So I will probably see it
That's
eventually.
mostly what I've heard too.
Yeah. So hey, if they're gonna do that, then yeah, that makes sense.
And Renee, the actor's name is Viggo Mortensen, by the way.
Viggo Mortensen, yes, Viggo. He is a true Renaissance man. That guy knows like 6 languages and writes. He takes photography or takes pictures. He's he's a photographer. He writes poetry. I mean, like Stella. After seeing Lord of the Rings, after I made Stella watch Lord of the Rings, she got kind of obsessed with him. And yeah, not only is he an incredible actor, he is truly like a really like interesting person.
He's
So, and
Viggo.
It's easy to be an interesting person when you're fucking loaded. So,
Yeah. Anyway, you were saying though.
what was that? What was I saying?
We were talking about Beetlejuice, and
Yeah.
they're saying that I guess the creator was like, well, the they asked, is there going to be a third one? He said, absolutely. The ink isn't dry yet on the deals, but it's going to happen.
Right on. Yeah, that's cool. So we'll see.
Renee said he also doesn't own a phone.
He doesn't own a phone.
She said, yeah, he does all sorts of things like he doesn't own a phone.
All right.
Or
fair enough.
Or maybe he does all sorts of things like he doesn't own a phone.
So little
A cell phone.
new, huh?
He doesn't have a cell phone.
Cell phone, yeah. So coming up, it was announced today. Jason Momoa has finished up filming on the Supergirl movie and with as his character Lobo. There were some pictures got leaked. It looked like maybe like a blurry cell phone picture got leaked, but he looks fucking badass, like really fucking cool. I like I said, this picture is fucking blurry, but it's a full shot of him head to toe getting off or getting onto or getting off of a motorcycle, and you're like, yep, this is the role he should have been playing all along. Now, I liked him as Aquaman. I wasn't about it at first because I was used to the traditional blonde hair, blue-eyed, Aryan fucking Aquaman. But he really brought something great to the role. He was really, really fantastic. And so I was like, all right, no, this could be
Yeah,
cool. Let's see where this goes.
I had no problems with it, with him being like more of the Pacific Islander, except for the fact that he was a Pacific Islander, where Atlantis is in the Atlantic.
Right, exactly. A little weird there. But, well, I mean, they kind of wrote it off as it being like, well, his
Well,
mother...
Polynesian more, I guess, is where.
Yeah, he's more Polynesian. But that his mother ran pretty far
Yeah,
to get to him, or at the very least, his dad. No, that's what it was. His dad was, yes, he was a Polynesian.
I know.
But he was a lighthouse worker in Maine, so whatever. But it was kind of cool that he
I did
he
like
started...
that they brought someone in who could have been his dad.
Oh yeah,
And they
for
didn't
real.
just bring some random guy in. They actually brought in someone that was ethnically.
pretty well, and a pretty well known actor in his
Yeah.
own right too.
And we got a.
But it's I even like the fact that he started to kind of integrate some of the the haka and some of the things from his upbringing and whatnot. But he should have just been Lobo. He should have just been cast as Lobo all along. And Stella was like, whenever I was talking about this a little bit, well, she's like, well, what's the big deal? I mean, people play multiple roles and they get cast and stuff. And I'm like, and that's true. But the thing is these days, so many people, the audiences are so tied into the idea of one actor playing one particular superhero. I mean, yes, we've seen multiple Supermen, multiple Batmen, and multiple Spider-Men, but we've had one Captain America, well, one Steve Rogers. We've had one Iron Man, one Thor. We did have three Hulks, but again, some of these are tied to franchises that have been around a lot longer. For some of these newer franchises, it's like, oh God, no, nobody could ever play another Iron Man, or nobody could ever play. No, relax, guys. These are roles that can be recast. It's okay if somebody comes in and that's not RDJ and plays Iron Man again. It's all right. It's okay if somebody other than Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine. This is getting to be silly here, But Momoa, they're saying he was really great. He was only on set briefly, so there are a lot of people that are a little worried that his role in this movie is not going to be particularly big. I don't think it's going to be.
I don't think it is either. It's not.
I don't think
it's
it's
the
going to
Lobo
be.
movie.
No, it's the Supergirl movie,
Yeah.
and if he's playing Lobo, and this is just going to introduce him as Lobo, and I guarantee that even if this movie doesn't do as well as they would like, they'll still make a Lobo movie because because Jason Momoa puts butts in seats.
Yeah.
So
and Ojipo just issued an ultimatum to you.
You mess with Deadpool, Russ, and we're going to be fighting. I love Deadpool. No, I loved it. I think Ryan Reynolds was amazing, and it would be extremely difficult to replace Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
Yeah.
The problem with that one is that Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. I mean, he is.
Yes.
He truly embodied what Deadpool was, even to the point where I think they even started to write Deadpool in the comics. And you know what? It's not even that. Ryan Reynolds embodied Deadpool from the comics so much they didn't even have to shift that way, because that was the thing. RDJ created such an iconic type version of Tony Stark that they shifted the Tony Stark from in the comics to be more like Tony Stark in the movies,
MCU.
where he's a little snarkier. There's that Stark snark. He's a little more, just more of a, more of a pain in the ass, more of a smart ass kind of thing. And whereas before he'd always been just kind of been played as this suave, debonair businessman, rich businessman. He wasn't really like a playboy because they didn't want him to be too much like Batman, right? They didn't want him to be too much like Bruce Wayne, where people are just where because Bruce Wayne was always supposed to be kind of like a layabout. He was just living off the trust fund and that kind of thing. Let everybody else run the Wayne Foundation. He'll just be the face of it. No, Tony Stark runs his company. He's a capable, like, genius that, people are all about. But at the same time, he wasn't like this, lovable asshole that RDJ kind of created. But the comics shifted towards that as he got more popular. When it comes to the way Ryan Reynolds played Wilson, he played him so much like he is in the comics. They didn't even have to do that. That was it. But yeah, trying to get anybody, try and find somebody that could embrace and embody Deadpool like Ryan Reynolds. I challenge you. That would be unbelievably difficult. But anyway, I think everything I'm hearing about so far about these upcoming DC films, the Superman movie is getting really good, positive early review. People are really excited for what they're seeing, what they've seen so far. Said James Gunn quietly revealed a huge Superman spoiler that has me more excited for the movie than ever. I mean, personally, just after when they showed the new footage with Crypto, people flipped out. There's over 10 million people have seen that clip now. It's gotten over 10 million views on YouTube.
I'm actually not one of them.
You haven't seen the clip with
No.
the extra? Jeez, Chris, you got to get on this shit. Let's see. Forging Strong's bonding with his actors. Blah 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 blah. Oh, apparently it was they're just showing pictures of when they celebrated the guys who's playing Mr. Terrific. It was his birthday. Oh, there was something in the background that people were like, "What is this?"
Well, don't spoil it.
No, it's just some blurry figure, and they think maybe okay, whatever. Oh, I see. Oh, well, I can see it. All right. Everything that I'm seeing so far, the things that I'm hearing about these new DC films coming out, the Superman movie looks like it's going to be great. And if the Supergirl movie touches on that on any level, I think I got some pretty serious good vibes going on with what James Gunn is doing with my DC heroes. I'm thinking good. I'm very encouraged. So hopefully we'll see that, and hopefully we'll see these amazing things. And like I said, making a Lobo movie it's a fucking no-brainer, man. It's like printing money. It would be comparable to making a Deadpool movie, just with more cosmic shit. There'd still be similar levels of violence, if not even more, because Lobo can go toe to toe with Superman. Superman would probably end up winning overall, but Lobo can trade punches with Superman. So you're going to see the violence level potentially ramped up, but it's still going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, this is a vehicle to get Momoa into the white body paint and red eye contacts, and the space chopper for Lobo. I think it's going to be fucking awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of superhero movies, Captain America: Brave New World is now available to buy and rent on streaming.
Yes. Is it renting or is it also available on Disney Plus?
It is not available on Disney Plus yet, I don't think.
Okay.
Let's see. That should be in a couple of weeks, I'm guessing then.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it's still a little ways away before you can get a Blu-ray too. Because I think I was looking for it.
Disney Plus release. It will be around late May or early June for Disney Plus. And let's see about Blu-ray.
It's finally showing up on Amazon.
Blu-ray is Tuesday, May 13th.
Yep, May 13th. So that's actually right around the corner.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Amazon Prime, the movie costs $29.99 to buy and $24.99 to rent.
I'll tell you, I'm like looking at these,
The movie rentals have gotten outrageous.
and the costs of buying movies now too has gone up. I mean, you can, if you want to wait a few months and get them a little bit later, the price will go down. But even on Amazon, just for the Blu-ray, although they are offering it on DVD too, which is surprising to me, for Blu-ray, $40.99. And that's not even the 4K. For that money, I'd buy the 4K for $5 more. It's definitely the prices of these things have definitely gone up.
Yeah, I think the last time I bought physical media when a movie first came out, I was paying like $24 for the Blu-ray.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. Yeah, like I said, it also depends on the film too. And if you give it a little time, it'll drop in price. But I'm actually real surprised. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Gonna put that on the wish list for now.
So one of the other things that I saw was that Anthony Mackie has come out and said that he thinks that Avengers Doomsday is going to bring that old Marvel feeling back to everyone.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's going to be huge, and it is going to it's going to make money. I think there's no way it can't with the number of stars that they've got and what they're planning. The thing about this is like I also heard the Russos saying that this is going to change cinema as we know it. That Doomsday will change cinema as we know it. I don't know about that. I mean,
I don't know.
that's saying a lot, dude. But
It's going to be member berries on Nerd Nuts.
it's going to be what?
It's going to be member berries on Nerd Nuts.
And a bunch of their Buffalo and basic ones are just okay.
They've been talking about hot ones and
Hot sauces. Yeah, I'm
hot
looking
sauces,
at here.
yeah. But along with that, there's also been talk, and I saw this on the Nerdist, and it was a whole thing about will Franklin Richards make his MCU debut in Fantastic Four: First Steps?
Well, she's pregnant in
Yes,
the film.
because they have announced it has been revealed that Sue will be pregnant during the movie.
Right.
So, and they're saying like right at the end she's going to have him, and that's going to be his MCU debut. Now the thing is that could set up a lot for Secret Wars.
Sure. Absolutely.
Because this is what they were speculating, and for those that don't know, Franklin Richards is god level powerful.
He's a mutant. He's actually
He's actually not a mutant.
Well, he was.
No, Professor X actually told him at one point that he was not a mutant. It was he had made himself. He's so powerful, he made himself appear as a mutant.
Okay. Well, that's
But
probably
he's actually like more of a cosmic level being.
right. Well, that was probably something that they retconned because back in the day he was a mutant, and he was technically there were adventures that he had with, like, when he grew up and he got older, because that was the thing. Like Franklin Richards, he started off as just as a little boy, and he was palling around with Power Pack and stuff because he had some. Reed Richards they'd figured out that he was, yes, cosmically leveled, like incredible, like godlike power, and Reed had given him mental blocks and dampeners to control his power, but the power expressed itself in different ways, and one of the things was that when he fell asleep, he could astrally travel, and you could see his astral form, and he ended up joining Power Pack, and he would pal around with them. But then later on, there was
he was Tattletale.
Tattletale, that's right. And thank you. And he, but then there was another storyline
I
where he
actually
got
hated Power
aged up.
Pack.
You didn't like Power Pack?
No.
I always had a
I
soft
hated when
spot
they
for it.
crossed over with the X-Men. That whole storyline I just
I always
got
had a little
pissed.
soft spot for Power Pack. But there was a storyline too when Franklin aged up to teenage years, and so then he started his powers expressed themselves more so through like psionics, I think, and stuff like that. And little bits of his abilities started leaking through and stuff and like I said, he was like
But
an
even as a
alternate version.
child, he
I
could
think
he
he
could
was.
take out the most powerful villains with a
Uh-huh.
thought. I mean, he took out
Yeah.
Mephisto with a
Oh yeah,
thought.
no. Mephisto was scared of him because of his power potential. But yeah, this teenage version of Franklin, I think he had come from the future. He's an alternate future
His
version.
grandfather kidnapped him, took him to the future, and then he came back.
Yeah, it's similar to kind of what happened to Jonathan Kent, and so, but then eventually Franklin, they did stuff, and he ended up being turned back into a kid again, and
And yeah, they said that the storyline didn't fare well in the article I read
Mhm.
'cause they were talking about that, and they said, yeah, that storyline was not very popular, so they went, and he was too much like Cable.
yeah. Where did you read this?
It was on the Nerdist.
Oh, it was on the Nerdist. That's right.
Yeah.
So, I forget that the Nerdist is even still doing shit because Chris Hardwick
Years
sold
ago,
it
yeah.
and everything. So anyway, it is interesting what they've done with Franklin, and I think now what's really kind of wild is Franklin's been more or less depowered. The way he exists in the universe now, he's more or less depowered. The thing is, the more interesting character is his younger sister, Valeria. Valeria is like 4 years old and smarter than Mr. Fantastic. She's literally,
And she's got an interesting backstory too, because
oh yeah,
technically she was originally a stillborn, and then Franklin went back in time to save her,
yeah.
and then took her to an alternate universe where Doctor Doom actually raised her, and that's why she's named Valeria.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then she was
he was her godfather. He demanded because that was the thing. Sue needed help. If I remember correctly, Sue needed help. She was having a difficult pregnancy, and Reed actually contacted Victor and said, "I need help." And Victor's like, "You need my help?" He goes, "Yes, I need your help, Victor." Like made him eat crow. Because that's all Victor ultimately wants is to beat Reed.
Yep.
He wants to beat Mr. Fantastic all the time. So that's the thing that's most important to him because his ego is the thing that gets him in trouble. And so Victor showed up and helped them to deliver the baby. And it was because of, and a similar thing happened with Franklin's birth too. Like Franklin, there was another difficult birth. And I think they needed Agatha Harkness's help or something.
well, she was his first nanny.
Right. But somebody helped. It might have been Victor again.
Well,
Somebody
there was
helped.
nothing about him having that being a difficult birth. It was
No?
just that Agatha was his first nanny, and then it was Herbie.
I just swore. But anyways, so one of the conditions was like Victor would be allowed to name the baby. So he chose his mother's name, Valeria. And then he became the god, and he's technically the godfather. She calls him Uncle Victor. I mean, she has Valeria, and she's like 4 or 5 years old. She might be a little older now. She might be more like 6, but she's as brilliant as her father. But she's still a little girl. So it's that dichotomy of having this genius level intellect, but in the body of this little girl that is also trying to be, a genius, but also a little girl. And Franklin is not a genius. He's just a normal, like his brains. He's a normal kid, but he also doesn't have powers anymore. So it's like that was the thing that set him apart. He had his powers. Valeria had her brain. Now he doesn't have his powers anymore. So they're trying to figure out that dynamic. In
Well,
the
and
comics.
yeah, and from what I read, he burned himself out after
Yeah.
Secret Wars, but it's also one of those where his powers are coming back, and it's that he has actually put a limit on himself.
Yeah, exactly. There's, I guess that he never lost his powers, but he put some sort of psychological limit on himself. And I actually have the last the last 3 years of Fantastic Four comics in my backlog that I'm going to be getting to soon, and I'm actually really looking forward to it because I've always liked the FF. It's they're never were my favorite. You know, I almost probably leaned more into the Avengers, but the FF is they have a very special place in the Marvel universe, and they're the first family of the Marvel universe, and that's an important thing. My friend Scott Mullen, who's been on the show, has said that creating the Marvel universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe without the FF is kind of like going to the prom without your date. You know, and I'm like, that's a really good analogy because they're the ones that started it ultimately. You know, they started the
Well,
modern Marvel universe in the 60s.
so let me just read this last paragraph from the thing because this is what they're speculating. It says, so what does Franklin Richards' arrival mean for the MCU? Well, if his reality warping powers are even somewhat similar to the comics, he could be the key to the future. It's likely that at the end of Avengers Secret War, Doctor Doom will be defeated and the multiverse reborn. But if Franklin uses his power to restore reality, they could use him to make some significant changes. We wouldn't be shocked if Franklin Richards somehow fuses the histories of the MCU Earth 616, the X-Men's Earth 10005, and his own Fantastic Four retro 60s Earth into one cohesive history.
Yeah, that's extremely likely.
Yes, folks, a
Extremely
Marvel
likely.
reboot because of this as yet uncast actor, as far as we know, could be the most important player in the MCU since Tony Stark put on his Iron Man armor.
Yeah, it's entirely possible, man. Really. I mean, I would not be surprised at all if they were to do something like that.
Because
I'd
it's
be
similar to
down
what he
for
did
it.
after Secret Wars in 2015. The
Right,
newer Secret
exactly.
Wars.
The newer Secret Wars, the new Secret Wars. Yeah, I think that would be a great way to. I mean, they've already said that it's more than likely that's we're going to see a combination of all of the various Marvel Cinematic Universes then now finally smooshed into one. You know, we'll see the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the MCU, the Spider-Man. Spider-Man is technically still part of the MCU. It's just you don't see the connection as much. But
Which,
and finally have them all blended together. Yeah,
yeah.
that's definitely it.
And yeah, and
You
that
know?
would redo the future of the MCU and allow them to bring all these other characters in. Now, speaking of Spider-Man, one of the other things I saw was that there are strong rumors that Craven will be in the next Spider-Man movie.
From the movie,
Yeah.
from the Craven movie.
Yep.
Now that's the other thing. Like I actually purchased that. I have it because it's a superhero movie. I'm more than likely going to get it. I haven't watched it yet, but that's another one that people were like, "It was fun." It's one of the more violent ones that have come out. Like there's some pretty really like substantial violence in this, in very just visceral violence in this movie from what I've seen. But
I will probably watch that one. I mean, I watched Morbius. Didn't think that was that bad. I will not watch Madam Web.
no, I
and-
won't watch it either. Even though I like Sydney Sweeney and I kind of want to see her in a superhero outfit, I'm like, no, man. It's everything I've heard has been just absolutely dog shit about that movie.
And I'll probably
I'm
watch
just
Craven.
like, nope. Huh?
I'll watch Craven, and I'll watch the
Yeah.
last Venom. I have not seen Venom 3 yet.
Yeah, I need to watch both Venom 2 and 3. I haven't watched
2
the
was
second.
all right. I mean, it wasn't quite as good as 1, but
So speaking of Spider-Man, I did finish the second Spider-Man game, and I got to tell you, as I was mentioning earlier about Laura Bailey, the game is really solid. It's not your standard Marvel. It's not the standard 616, and it's not the MCU Spider-Man. It is a whole different Spider-Man from the multiverse, but it is really good. Like there are some minor differences. If you played the first game, you'll know that like Aunt May is gone as well. She passed away. So that there's a somewhat different dynamic there with Peter not having Aunt May, but Laura Bailey plays the part of Mary Jane, and she's really good. The Harry is the guy who plays Harry. Reprises it, yeah, right. They bring in Harry Osborn in the second movie or the second game, and the same actor.
He's sort of in the first one.
He's a little, yeah. Mark Ralston. He's a character actor that you've seen in a bunch of stuff. He plays Norman Osborn, and he reprises his role as Norman Osborn. And Norman Osborn, you don't see any hint of the Green Goblin in the first two movies because they concentrate in the first two games. God, I keep saying that. The first game, the ultimate villain is Doc Ock, which personally, he's my favorite. You know, I've never been a big fan of the Green Goblin.
I always hate his look. His haircut is awful, but I always liked the character of Doc Ock.
But yeah, I like Doc Ock a lot better. Another one of those examples of somebody if he got his shit together and was an actual superhero, like when he became the Superior Spider-Man, he'd be a hell of a superhero. But because he can't get out of his own fucking way, he's an asshole. But so yeah, the main villain in Spider-Man 1 is Doc Ock, and the main villain in Spider-Man 2 is Craven, essentially. But it really brings in a lot of stuff about Venom, and then you see some of the other characters and villains and stuff. But it's really, really solid, and they've left it wide open for a sequel, a Spider-Man 3. In fact, they didn't even leave it wide open. They set up Spider-Man 3, a Spider-Man 3 video game, completely set up. There's a couple of there's two post-credit scenes that even if you don't watch the credits completely, if you skip through them, it still shows you the post-credit scene, and yeah, it just kind of sets everything up for the next Spider-Man game. Now this first one came out the Spider-Man 2 came out in 23, so we're probably a ways away from them making a Spider-Man 3 game. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Spider-Man 3 until the next generation of console, but we are potentially still like a good 4 to 5 years away from the PlayStation 6. So who knows? We'll see. But I highly recommend it. A lot of fun. It's not a game that you can you'll necessarily play for like 3 months like Skyrim, but I think I got something like I could keep playing. Like I beat the game and I started immediately a new game plus with just slightly elevated difficulty, and even the new game plus gives you more like costume options, because that's one of the other things that's really cool is like all of the different costumes that you can get for Peter and for Miles. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. Spider-Man 2 features both Peter and Miles as main characters. I'd say it leans a little bit harder into the Peter Parker story, but there's still a lot going on with Miles, and it's really, really great. So Chris, definitely one you may want to pick up for.
I'm still playing through the first one. I got to get back to it.
Oh man, so good! Like as Spider-Man, then the Miles Morales game. The Miles Morales game is a full game, but it's more than an add-on, but it's less than a full game. You know, it's a $40 game, not a $60 game, but it's still so much fun. And then this game just knocked it out of the park. Really, really fantastic.
So what else you got?
The ultimate Baldur's Gate experience. Baldur's Gate 3 patch 8 is huge and has 48 pages of patch notes.
Holy shit. Well, I mean,
yeah.
they got like 12 new subclasses.
It launched today.
Oh, did it? All right, I need to patch.
The patch 8 is officially set to launch on April 15th, and while we already know it's going to be big, the devs at Larian Studios are really hyping up just how big it is. It's huge. It says the
I don't want to have to start
publishing
again.
director. What's that?
I don't want to have to start again.
I'm gonna probably have to start again. Yeah. Details soon. The ultimate Baldur's Gate experience. I can't wait to play through again and again. It's unclear exactly what those details are, when those details are going to land, but they'll likely be in the form of patch notes and what a might set of notes it's going to be. I just read the 48 pages of patch notes on this. Vinky said this from Sven Vinky. If there was a Michelin guide to patches, I'd give this one 3 stars. Okay, that's funny. Yeah, it's the final big update for Baldur's Gate 3, and it seems Larian is intent on sending the game off with a bang. The update has been available to players for stress tests over the last few months, so it's not a complete mystery. And we do know that it's adding 12 new subclasses, crossplay, and a photo mode. Whatever other mysteries this update is hiding, we'll have to wait until after everybody goes through it all and figures it out.
They also did an animated short, or someone did an animated short for the Baldur's Gate final patch. An animated short. It's on YouTube.
I saw something about that too. Yeah.
Oh, it's open to crossplay now. That's one of the things.
And it's open to crossplay. Yeah.
Crossplay and mods.
That's what I said. Subclasses, crossplay, and the photo mode are the big things that they were.
Yeah, that's the 3 things that started there. Getting started, exploring the camera, photo.
Now,
mode.
my guess is that a lot of the things they're adding are just game fixes. Probably graphic fixes, probably adjustments of.
Well, it's all the new subclasses too.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is it? Dance mode. Okay, that's just somebody's. Oh, it's somebody submitting a photo. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, so it's Path of the Giant Barbarian, College of Glamour Bard, Death Domain Cleric, Circle of Stars Druid, Arcane Archer Fighter, Way of the Drunken Master Monk, Oath of the Crown Paladin, Swarmkeeper Ranger, Swashbuckler Rogue, Shadow Magic Sorcerer. That's going to be a badass one. Hexblade Warlock, finally, and Blade Singing Wizard. Yeah, CD said he's doing the Drunken Monk for sure. Yeah, CD, one of the things is actually your monk actually does like sway drunkenly if you take that.
The character sways drunkenly.
Yep. And all the moves are like this. They're like the Drunken Monk moves.
Well, that's cool. Drunken Monk, that's funny. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to play the Drunken Monk so much, but I mean, I
want the giant. I want the Path of the Giant Barbarian.
Yeah. I'll try that for sure.
And the Shadow Magic Sorcerer, and even the Hexblade Warlock. I would actually do. Then I might actually leave. What's his name? The Blade of the Frontiers. As a warlock. In my one playthrough, I actually made him a Lockett-in.
You made him a Lockett-in, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it fits him. He's got to be for his storyline. He has to stay a warlock, but he's such a goody that making him into a paladin is actually, I think, a good path for him.
Makes sense. The funny thing is like if you respec him out of warlock, you hear from what I hear, there's a chuckle in the voice of his patron.
Yeah,
like you hear a chuckle, you hear her laugh or something like that.
Circle of Stars Druid could be fun too, just for the visuals. I want to see if they do it because one of the forms you can take with that is the starry form.
Yeah, no, I heard some really cool things about that. I'd be like, yeah. See, that's the thing. I want to check out a lot of this stuff. I just there's only so many times.
4 characters though.
What's that?
You only get 4 characters to play at a time.
That's the thing that bugs me. I think more than in any aspect of that game is the fact that there are only 4 characters at a time on your party. I want 6.
Yeah, me too. I want 6.
I want 6. That's the way it should be. It's the way the previous games were.
But it fits with what they've gone to in D&D, and that most adventures are now set up for 4 characters. And I think it's to try and limit the difficulty of getting groups together.
Yeah. Oh no. True.
It's
I mean, it is
amazing. Honestly, it's amazing that we've been able to keep with the people that have come and gone in our group. But still,
Yeah.
it's amazing that we've had consistent games for as long as we have.
Oh, for real. Absolutely. I mean, I feel bad that I've had to, like, step away from the game from time to time, or had to miss sessions because of gigs. Just the fact that right now that I have had to, miss this one or last week, and I've had to miss a number of them because of either sickness or whatever else. It's driving me fucking crazy. But I think, I still feel like the game, though, itself really lends to 6 party members. It would be, I think part of it, too, is just like, I want to develop all the characters really well,
Yeah.
And I want to play all their side quests and shit. And it's harder because you're like, okay, if I don't have Shadowheart in my party, I better have a different healer.
Right.
Or if I have, and granted, yes, you can respec these characters and stuff, but like if you're playing a character that has, like thieving abilities, why have Astarion in the party?
Yeah, my
it's
monk.
just
When I'm playing my monk, I can do almost everything Astarion can do just because my dex is so high.
right. So like I'm playing my most recent playthrough was a bard, or at least I only played through the first act, I think. So I'll start over with this since the new thing. But I'm like, with the bard in the party, I really didn't need Astarion all that much, because I also, the first time I played through, I had Astarion as he was a rogue, but I had him as what's the arcane trickster.
Yeah.
I think I chose him arcane trickster. So he had roguish abilities, he had magic abilities, and I usually gave him a bow and arrow or some kind of range attack. So, but he's superfluous if I've got a bard, because honestly, Shadowheart is the best healer.
She is, and I actually change her as soon as I can from a trickster domain to a life cleric.
I hate the fucking trickster domain.
I do too.
I hate, yeah. It's fine for Jester in Critical Role, but I don't like it. No, she wasn't.
She admits Jester is the worst cleric ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She should have been. Her whole concept. She should have just been a warlock, but because he had more or less promised a warlock to Ford, or to Travis, because Travis wanted to play a warlock. They didn't want 2 warlocks, so fucking Mercer decided, all right, we'll just make you a cleric. We'll tweak it a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, whatever, dude. But yeah, she was a fucking terrible
But
cleric.
But she won D&D.
She did. She absolutely won D&D. Better than anybody had ever fucking seen in my life. She was incredible. So yeah, the new patch and stuff with it going live. Is that your bestie? I'm excited. I'm going to probably be checking it out probably pretty soon. Because like I said, I just finished Spider-Man, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to play next on my PlayStation? Because I have a shit ton of games on my computer I can play, and I can play thanks to crossplay and thanks to like just signing in to the different your like Baldur's Gate account. I can start a game on my PlayStation and continue it on my computer, and vice versa, which is really fucking cool. But I have a bunch of games that I want to get to that I haven't played, but I also want to go back and play some of my old games again, like Baldur's Gate, like I just did with Skyrim. I want to do a Fallout 4 playthrough. I want to get back into Fallout 76. I'd love to replay Red Dead Redemption 2. I haven't done that in a long time. But I think right now, the new game that I picked up after Spider-Man is I picked up Star Trek. What is it? It's the Star Trek video game that came out last year, and Star Trek Resurgence, and it's actually pretty solid, man. I mean, it takes place post Voyager coming back to town, and so it's and there's it gives you a time frame at one point because it references an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and one of the characters said, "Well, that was 16 years ago." So it's give or take about 10 to 12 years after, say, Voyager has come, about 10 years probably after Voyager has come home. I think Riker's in the game at some point, and he's a captain. So I was playing
Probably
at a
of the
bunch of it
Titan.
last. Yeah, I was playing a bunch of it last night. It's fun. It's a little stiff. The characters are a little stiff, you know. The animation is, I don't know. Liam O'Brien from Critical Role, and I think Robbie Damon also. They both have voiceover roles in this game. I think when I'm done playing Star Trek Resurgence, I will probably try. I'll probably maybe get into another playthrough of Baldur's Gate, a full playthrough on my PlayStation, and because I haven't done that yet since I bought it. But the game is so fucking good, Chris. It's so fucking good.
It is.
But I feel bad because
It really, really is.
I have like at least half a dozen, maybe more than that, video games
Well,
sitting on my shelf waiting to be played.
And that's the thing. So Baldur's Gate 3 is one that I would love to play through with every character as the main character.
Yeah, exactly that too.
Because I've heard
I'd
it
love
really
it.
changes the story and how they develop.
I'd love to play, yeah, through each of those guys. But at the same time, I'm like,
And I want to play a Dark Urge at some point.
I would, yeah.
That
problem
one's
is
rough for me though, because you're not really the hero.
No, you're just the guy doing the missions, you know, essentially. Well, you can do it two ways. You can play a dirge where you're resisting the urges, or you can give in to it.
Yeah.
I just don't play bad guys, man. I don't play video games to play bad guys. The closest I've ever come to doing that is Grand Theft Auto. And even in those games, you're still playing,
Oh, for me it was City of Villains.
yeah, but even then, I mean, I still have villain characters that I play in that game, and I still don't play them as the bad guys. They're kind of scoundrels, you know. Because that was the thing. There was definitely different ways to play that game too. You know, I just don't play bad guys. It's just not my nature, really. I like I said, I have difficulty.
I don't know. I play the Sith a lot in Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah, I mean, and those are some other games that I never really got into were those games. I like being the good guy. It's part of who I am, I guess. You know. Let's see. So yeah, that apparently went live today. I would imagine like everything like pre-downloaded already. It would be interesting. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the if I look at the Baldur's Gate 3, let's see if it's open in Steam. Yeah, I've got it. It's downloading now, and it is probably going to take a while.
You know, Jeepa said love playing the bad guy, and CD said that he doesn't do bad guys either.
Yeah, I know. It could be a flaw on my, you know, in my character, but I don't think so. I like it.
But we should probably start wrapping things up. I'm actually
should.
fading. I'm not feeling great right now. I think it's the
Right
weather
on.
and everything. So
Yeah, that's fine. What I was gonna say. Well, guys, we got a number of weeks to come out to the Wonderland stroll. If you got kids, if you got family, you're in the Detroit area, you want to come out. It's a cool night. I recommend coming out in the evenings when it's dark, as it gets darker, because everything's all lit up, and it's all of the backgrounds and props are all like all these lit up kinds of things. It's right there, right next to the Yates cider mill, so you can get donuts and cider, and
Well,
that's
the Yates Cider Mill outlet.
oh yeah, essentially. It's really really great over there at Canterbury Village in Lake Orion. You get to see me playing the Mad Hatter, and it's a lot of fun. That's what I'm doing right now. We will be back next week here, same bat time, same bat channel, 8 o'clock every Tuesday night. We will not be gaming this Friday night, but we will be back next Friday. Hopefully, I will be back as well.
Renee just said Warren Pride is May 31st. I believe Imaginarium Circus is performing at it. So
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, Paladin at heart. That's me. So yeah,
Paladin.
a Paladin. But that's about it. Guys, tell all your friends about us, and we are on all the places you can find quality podcasting. So tell your friends about us, and then please come back. We're at 109 followers.
Yeah, we got 2 new followers on Friday night.
Great.
We actually got a new follower or new subscriber on YouTube today. Yeah, Renee said they are performing. They're doing aerial and fabric fans at Warren Pride. So
Very cool. Wingskook, where is the Warren Pride thing? Where is the performance? Give us a little background. Because Warren doesn't have like there's no downtown
a lot of their stuff
area.
is at Hallmich Park, but I don't know if that is.
Yeah, I can't think of
they got that big city center now too.
Do they?
Can do stuff. Yeah, over there between 12 and 13 on Van Dyke, where City Hall is. That's
okay.
a whole city complex now. I think there's a water park in there, and
Oh yeah. I think I remember that.
they put a bunch of
Because it's not like Ferndale where they've got like or Royal Oak where they have like a definite like this.
They shut off the road here, and this is where they have it. Like
the shopping area.
One City Square. So yeah, so it is. It's right there at City Hall.
Okay, cool. Right. Once they invent transport us, that's all we need, man.
Yep.
It's funny at work we were talking about one of the things like I saw some articles they were talking to a guy like a science guy about Star Trek and about what kinds of technology do you think, or what technology do you think what percentage of technology do you think we've gotten so far from Star Trek? And the dude said something like 85%. He goes, we've gotten a lot of stuff from Star Trek, that people in Star Trek have. We have, communicators. We have, video phones. We have like touch pads. We have a lot of the minor things that Star Trek kind of shows us. The big things, the things that we don't have, the main thing, which is really kind of out of the grand scheme, a smaller percentage, is the warp drive. Because the warp drive is what powers and eventually drives everything else. If you have a warp engine, a fusion reaction engine, a warp engine, that'll allow the creation of a transporter, a replicator, a holodeck, those things that are like iconic of Star Trek, And so it's just funny how like all we need is to figure out that warp drive, and that'll catapult us forward into figuring out how to make those other things.
About 120 years still, or 130 years?
Give or take.
Till Zephyr Cochrane makes his first
Actually, Zephyr, no, that was still in the 21st century, so it was in 20.
I thought it was the 22nd.
No. Oh, no, for when Zephyr and Cochrane discovered warp travel, I think it was still in... I'd have to see.
I thought it was like... take his first... first flight. I thought it was like 2153. Oh, no, it's 26. Oh, April 5th, 2063.
Yep. Yeah.
I knew it was a 3.
Yep.
Cochrane made Earth's first warp flight. So, yeah. Okay, so we're only...
Yeah.
I could still be alive then. I mean,
Yeah,
be 90,
technically-
I'd be 92, but
I would be 89. So yeah,
yeah.
technically we could still be
We got to get
could
through the
still be
eugenics wars first, though.
We got to get through the eugenics wars. That would be hard. Massive nuclear destruction that we are able to barely survive, and yeah.
The A1 wars. Yeah, you're right.
What's that?
The CD said AI wars.
The
And
AI
I said
wars.
A1. Did you see that?
The
bullshit?
A1, yeah. Did you see that shit? God.
The,
You know-
the head of the Department of Education.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we're gonna put
she's Vince
A1
McMahon's wife.
A1 in every school, starting at preschool.
Yeah,
That-
A1. I'll take A1 in
And,
my.
well, did you see
know.
that A1 actually came back and said, "Yeah, start them young."
Yeah, you're right, Wingsuit. We are in the Bell riots right now.
Yeah.
That's true. And it doesn't look good because it's starting to like yeah, that's some it is funny that we didn't talk about anything about Donald Trump tonight.
I
Which is
didn't
kinda
want to.
nice.
I couldn't.
Yeah. There's
too much.
It really is
the
getting
shit
worse.
with the guy that was sent mistakenly and all that, and both him and the president of El Salvador refusing to bring him back, and Trump going off on a reporter for even asking about it.
Yeah.
That
Or
just-
the whole like, why do you got to ask me these questions like this? Why can't you just thank me for getting rid of these, these criminals?
Why are you going to ask a question like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, ask me that. It's like, because you're the fucking president, dipshit.
Yeah. The fact that they've been completely just ignoring the rule of law.
Yeah, and what the courts say.
Right, exactly. And because nobody has the fucking nutsack to fucking stand up to
Yeah.
that orange fucking fascist and all of his cronies.
Yep.
It's fucking
Well,
disgusting.
I saw a thing, an article. One of my friends posted it. He's a former lawyer, retired out in Connecticut now, but very, very much a Democrat. But he posted a thing that it was an article from someplace, I don't remember where, but it was Trump needs to be impeached now.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. He said he's done so many impeachable offenses of late.
Ignoring the
holy
Supreme
shit.
Court is one of them.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, and then someone else posted a thing. I saw a thing where it was like, so Trump wants to set it up so he can run for a third term. Well, he's still going to have to run, and that's fine if he does that. That means Obama can run against him.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, if he decides he could run again, that
Then
means
that means anyone can run again, which means Obama could run. And somebody actually did a poll recently and said, if it were a choice between Trump and Obama, who would win? And now, granted, you never know with polls, but it was a 6-point difference. 53 to 47 said Obama. But I also saw a really scary thing saying that 36% of registered voters in the U.S. identify as MAGA now.
How many
36%.
identify as MAGA?
Yep.
See, it's wild because I just don't. There's so many disappointing parts. Like so many times that MAGA has been disappointed by him. I find that feels high to me.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, don't they realize those hats are going to go way up in price now
Yeah, absolutely.
with the
'Cause
tariffs on China?
I love how
those,
China.
those are going to like at least double in price.
Yeah. I love how China was kind of like recently I saw someone to say China's been around for 5,000 years. They've been around a lot longer than the U.S. We'll be fine.
Well, they're
like
trolling.
meaning that.
They're trolling.
Oh, they're
him.
trolling. Did you see how that they revealed about how the the expensive clothing and things that people think they're getting from Italy are just being made in China, sent to Italy, where they put a little "Made in Italy" fucking tag on it, and then they're all
The tag was
fleecing
made
us.
in Italy.
The tag was made in Italy, right? They're all fleecing us, man. It's crazy. It's like that people are finding out now. China's saying, "Hey, buy directly from us." we'll send you Nikes for $4. You know? And people are like, what? Yeah, they've completely. China is like, and now they're canceling all of this fucking, all of the different the billions and billions of dollars of like they're not going to buy our beef anymore. They're not going to buy our pork. They're not going to buy all of these things that we're trying to because of Donald Trump's tariffs, because he's trying to tariff the shit out of China.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, they shouldn't be doing what they're doing. And Vance is just as bad. I mean, Vance is worse. I mean, he's just out there as a fucking a psycho cheerleader.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then I also heard another left pundit on Instagram. She's actually really cool. She just does these are Donald Trump's big L's for the week, and she always goes through like all of his fuck ups. And people were saying, do you have hope for the next election and for the future? She goes, absolutely, I do. She was talking about if we can get the trifecta of the presidency, the House, the Senate, get all of them through the next few elections, we can really make some serious major change that could come potentially out of the clusterfuck catastrophe that is what has happened now. And the thing is too, what they've talked about is that the Republicans have been putting so much work into Donald Trump, and now into they're the next person, the people that run. We're gonna have our best and brightest from the Democrat side are going to be running, and they're going to be smart and articulate and just good people. And they're not going to be able. There aren't going to be any Republicans that don't come off as crazy sauce against.
Well, I've seen this multiple times online where they're like, it's somebody going, it's a right winger going, you can't. I find it so difficult to have a conversation with a Democrat because you can't refute any of their stuff, because they fact check it before they even bring it up, so you can't even fact check them. And it's like, yeah, dumbass. It's called doing research before you speak on something. And
right,
yes,
exactly.
Renee's right. Vance doesn't have an independent thought in his head.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. That was the other thing. Like, he is the opposite of likable. Mm-hmm.
My biggest concern is going to be the next election is going to come, and no matter who it is, if the Democrats win, Vance will refuse to certify the election because he'll be the one that oversees it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because he'll do what Pence didn't have the courage to do.
Yeah, unless it's a fucking landslide, and it's
even
obvious.
Then I don't think he will.
Yeah,
because I think it's going to be him that's running against whoever it is, and he's so unlikable. I don't.
Well, who knows? For all we know, Donald Trump will drop dead before his
Here's hoping.
Yeah, that he'll drop dead before his term is up, and we'll see. And we'll have J.D. Vance being a moron in the presidency.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
All right.
So, all right. Well, remember, you can follow us on most social medias. We're on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show, and everywhere else, Drinking Nerds. And I really tried hard not to talk about current events at all tonight. I really didn't want to. So, so thanks for putting that in my head just before I'm going to bed. So
sorry, brother.
But yeah. So have a good night, everybody. Have a good week. Stay safe, stay sane, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. I guess that'll about do it.
That should do it.
Until next time.
Slancha.
I can't believe I forgot that. All right, have a good week, everybody.
I distracted you.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Well, I'd like to tell the story of the band. La 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 la.